Stephanie is the owner of Manifestation Psychic Emporium, a business she established to help people gain insight and clarity into their lives through psychic readings and spiritual guidance. With over 20 years of experience in the field, Stephanie's grandmother was a significant influence in her journey to becoming a psychic and spiritualist. Out of 11 grandchildren, Stephanie is the only one who inherited her grandmother's gift. And Stephanie joins us now. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm brilliant, thank you. So how did you actually discover your psychic abilities?
Well, I was around 6 or 7 years old, and my mom went to go visit, spend my grandmother's last moments with her. My mom went to go spend time with her mom before she passed, and I was staying over to my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who was a spiritualist. And I kept having dreams and nightmares, like hours and the night before she passed away. And I had a dreamlike vision that she passed away. And when I woke up, I told my grandmother what I saw, and that she passed away. And I was crying. I was really upset because I didn't want it to happen. I wasn't ready for that. And she told me not to be afraid, and that, my grandmother had passed. And it was just like a very scary moment for me. It was terrifying, because it's like, why did I see that? What happened? And she'd explained to me that, that she's proud of me and that I have the gift and not to be afraid. So it was just, for someone who was 6 or 7, it was like, it was really scary.
And how did your grandmother actually influence your own spiritual journey?
I definitely have to say is like, she was a big part of it, because, our old culture, which is Romanian Greek, and this Jew teaching me and learning superstitions and old tales, and definitely learning of how she did a spiritual healing, because people used to come and visit her from all over the world. My family is well known in the state of Texas for doing like spiritual work. So she taught me a lot about her methods and how, our family is just destined to help people. And she taught me a lot about, understanding her gift and teaching me how you would come in contact with spirit, good and evil, So I learned about that. And she just taught me also how to be afraid and how to handle myself in any situation, good or bad.
So how are psychics actually able to connect with people and read them?
Definitely, the best way to explain is like, it's true intuition, through our gift. It's definitely not bound by space or time. Kind of like when you look through, say, like there's a pond, for example, or a lake. And, of course, the sky space is humongous. And, you look up, you see everything, but you don't see it all. Well, just like a pond or a lake would catch the reflection of the moon and a bunch of stars in the sky, that's kind of the way that we see things. It's kind of like a pool of intuition. We connect with people in so many ways. We're always touching and always connected. The whole world is surrounded by energy, good and bad. Yeah. And it just recognizes, that intuition recognizes that there's no distance, there's no wall between us. So even if that pool is like, 5 feet deep, it definitely manages, it accurately reflects the entire sky, the moon and every star, and it's like every person has a pool of intuition, and then you can see the reflection of anything, no matter how far, just by looking within, because like we're always connected energetically. We could be connected from people from across the globe, like especially, as long as I have a person's name and I hear either their voice or their date of birth, I'm able to connect with them as if I was in the same room with them.
Yeah. So what would you say to the skeptic who may not believe in your abilities?
Definitely that there's scientific proof that there is psychics, and that there has been people who use these abilities for good. Like, for example, there's been secret government experiments on psychic spying. They've tried to use it for intelligence reasons. Like, for example, Project Stargate, that's been a while. It's been declassified. Like, that has the most credible evidence of people who have paranormal abilities. For example, they were trying to use it for spying or remote viewing of like other foreign government documents and things like that, or they would send someone to a random location and they would have a person with psychic abilities to detect where that person is and describe that location. So, I mean, there's been scientific proof. There's not just with my government, with American government, but other agencies and universities that did have scientific evidence of psychic abilities and how it was used, definitely from the 60s, 70s, and so on. So, I mean, it's just amazing the proof that they have out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all they have to do is just look through all the government files and they'll see scientific proof of this.
This is the case in all industries, but it seems to be particularly prevalent for psychic mediums in that there are a few charlatans out there that will give all the genuine people a bad name. So what do you think about them? Do you kind of find it annoying that there are people out there that aren't genuine?
I do find it extremely annoying. I do find it very extremely annoying, and it gives people, gives us a bad name. And definitely, they should really stick to things that they know and not ruin the name of spiritualists, because there's people who really need help and who are looking for guidance and peace of mind. And then when they run across someone who really has a gift and who wants to help them to the fullest, they kind of they're skeptical and don't, want to really take our advice, and that's hard, that's very disappointing.
So how do you believe that your Greek and Romanian heritage has influenced your psychic abilities and the services you offer within your business?
I think it definitely has heavily influenced it. Because Romanian and Greek culture and Greece, those are the birthplaces of superstition and magic, and definitely big history there, and definitely the birthplace of superstition and magic. So it's definitely, especially being my roots, it's definitely where all of this has come from. My beliefs, my superstitions, and everything, and that's definitely also the birthplace of, they call him in Romania, Dracul, which is meaning the devil, but everybody knows him as Dracula. Those are what the stories came from. Yeah. So that definitely affected, how I see things, all of the stories that I've heard growing up from elderly. But it's definitely affected my work, because I kind of put some of those ancient Greek and Romanian beliefs into my spiritual work.
What are some of the most common reasons that clients will seek out your services?
I would definitely say from anything, a lot of love and a lot of from love to reunite people, to reunite passion, and definitely help people like with misfortune and what they see as generational curses. For example, like addiction, alcoholism, drug abuse, things like that, because there's many different addictions. And a lot of people will come to me, telling me, okay, well, I had my mom and my grandmother and so on who have addictions to alcohol or drugs or anything that has affected them deeply. And I've helped people kind of overcome that and break that cycle. I mean, I've had people from many different problems, not just something that was generational, but with love or what just simply just misfortune in many areas of their life. And, and I'm glad that they trusted me with all of these important things in their lives and that I was able to help them. I'm very thankful for that.
Do you find it quite rewarding?
I do. I do find it very rewarding. It is very important to me. And that is why I do this work. I dedicated my life and took a vow to be able to help others, to guide others. And the most rewarding part is seeing smile on someone's face, to see someone do better than when they first came to me. That I cannot explain the feeling, that joy and the happiness that I get from that, from seeing people happy.
And do you find that some clients can actually be quite skeptical before they come in, and then as they get to know you, I suppose, and hear what you have to say, that skepticalness goes away?
Yeah, definitely. They tell me that my abilities and that my spiritual workings definitely change their perception psychics forever. That's what they tell.
And most of your clients, where are they in terms of skepticalness? Do most of your clients come in and aren't skeptical? They have experience and know that you're genuine?
Yes, most of them, a lot of them, they're believers of the spiritual realm. They're believers of, spiritual workings and psychics. Some of them are a little bit skeptic. I've had people who've had bad experiences. And then once they got a reading with me, I've changed their, definitely changed their idea of psychics and everything. But definitely because I'm most well known for my tarot reading. So that once I do a tarot reading and things like that, any type of divination, they definitely have a changed mindset.
Yeah, because I suppose it's one thing to believe in the world and believe in psychic mediumship existing, but it's another thing to be able to trust somebody, because I believe you can fix a toilet, but I need to know that the person I'm hiring to do it is actually qualified. So what is the best advice to tell apart the genuine people and the charlatans?
It's definitely by the advice that you are given. It's definitely by the energy you have to feel connected to your spiritualist. That's very important. And also this person is giving you accurate information that is close to your life, that what your current situation or your past situation is. If you are getting accurate information that is extremely close to what you're currently going through or what you have gone through in the past, and if this person also helps you to feel better and give you peace of mind than what you were feeling before, then that is how you tell the difference between the psychic, the real, and the charlatans, as you say.
In your Manifestation Psychic Emporium, you sell candles and oils and other curios. What kind of candles and oils do you sell?
Well, a lot of my oils and candles are made, they're handmade, and I make them using organic beeswax with the candles. A lot of my herbs and things that I source comes from many different parts of the world. It depends on the situation. I make some for love, some for good fortune, some for, for example, if someone was wanting good luck going to a casino, it just depends. Or if someone wants me to make an oil or candle specifically made for their date of birth, their name, and so on. So it just depends. But I use anything from when I'm using base oils, I use anything from coconut oil, grapeseed oil. I tend to stick to those because a lot of people have nut allergies. So sometimes certain herbs that would have people rub their hands with them or rub them on money. So I would never want to give anyone allergic reaction. So I kind of stick within those oils and use a lot of herbs that come from different parts of the world. So my ingredients sometimes are very rare and difficult to find.
And what's the science behind that? How can a candle give you good luck?
It's all about energy. It's definitely all about magic is the manipulation of energy.
Yeah.
And it's all about having faith, because once you do something in anything, what I tell my clients is you have to have faith in the work that we're doing. You have to have faith in what you're doing, because if not, you're setting it up already to fail. So when you are lighting a candle, you are kind of like putting a petition, you're putting something out there to the universe, putting a request in. And that is connecting with something spiritually, especially depending on the ingredients that you use. So it's connecting with the universe, and you're placing a petition, a request, and the universe is going to send it back to you, Yeah. For example, the law of attraction. People think that the most powerful force in the world, the most powerful energy in the world is love, when actually it's gratitude. If we focus on what we're lacking, we are going to create more lack. But if we show more gratitude, we are going to draw and attract more finances, attract better relationships, attract so many better things in our lives. So it's the energy that we put out into the universe.
Yeah, that's interesting, because being grateful is generally seen as a positive thing as opposed to wanting. We often think about what's happening next in our lives rather than what we've already got.
Right, exactly.
And speaking of what's happening next, what is happening next for you? Do you have plans to have more products in the Emporium and offer more services?
Definitely offer, probably offer more product, but mostly what's next really is, occasionally I do paranormal investigation. Occasionally I do that, and I do those on the side. I don't like to do a lot of them because you come in contact with a lot of negative, evil entities and a lot of dark things, and those things tend to follow you home. So I don't want to do that, but I'm going to be writing a book about how how the spiritual body affects the physical body in the physical realm, and how sometimes you can be drawing misfortune to your own self by focusing on lack and a lot of complaining, which is everybody tends to do.
Well, in the meantime, where are we able to find your Manifestation Psychic Emporium and all the services you offer?
I have a website, mpsychice.com, which stands for Manifestation Psychic Emporium. I'm also available on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So on Instagram, you can search for Manifestation Psychic Emporium, and it's very easy to get a hold of me. You could also email me at mpsychice@protonmail.com. And feel free to email me. I'm available on WhatsApp, and I help clients internationally.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.